Everyone, Drew Schaefer here, financial advisor and planner with Ellis Investment Partners. And today I'd like to talk about the potential benefits of Roth conversions during your gap years of retirement. And I'm going to utilize our financial planning software here to help illustrate how to locate these potential opportunities and also illustrate the potential long-term benefits this type of strategy could have in your retirement. Now, before we get started, just a few kind of clarifying points. First being when I'm referencing gap years, what I'm talking about is the years between your retirement and your RMDs, your required minimum distributions. Commonly, we see with retirees, these could be your lowest income years, and in turn, your lowest tax rate years as well, assessed in your retirement. So, Roth conversions are a great way to take advantage of those lower tax rates. When I'm referencing Roth conversions, if you're unfamiliar with that term, essentially what we're talking about is you take money from your pre-tax accounts, whether it be a traditional IRA, a 401k, 403b, and you convert or transfer that money over into a Roth account. In doing so, you do create a taxable event. Any amount that you convert over to Roth does get added to your taxable income. However, the benefit then is now that it's in the Roth, the money will be invested and grow tax-free. So because it's a taxable event, it is important to work with your advisor or your accountant when implementing this strategy. There are certain limits that you could potentially go over, and you could end up costing yourself either more in taxes unknowingly, or also potentially increase your Medicare premiums. So it is important that you do work with someone who is familiar with this when implementing the strategy, but if done correctly, it can really save you in taxes throughout retirement. So I'm going to share my screen here momentarily, and really what we're looking at is I built in a hypothetical couple, of course, on our planning software. And this hypothetical couple, a couple years from retirement, tried to build them to be your typical pre-retiree couple. So what we're looking at here, again, is a couple early 60s. Their plan is to retire in 2 years and begin with distributing from the portfolio to help complement their income in retirement. So typically the first thing that we'll do in this situation is just a kind of a quick health check on the overall retirement outlook. Do we see any red flags, any concerns with the longevity of the portfolio and what their plans are in retirement? So that's what this quick analysis does here. And as you'll be able to see here, in this hypothetical scenario, this couple is completely okay when it comes to the longevity of their assets. So from here, we're looking for opportunity areas that will still enhance this. And one of the first things we'll do is take a look at your projected taxes throughout retirement. This is how we can locate, are there going to be any opportunities during those gap years? And this chart here is projecting out what their taxes paid will be year over year. Obviously, that is very subject to change, as tax laws and tax rates are always subject to change as well. But when running with what's currently in place and what we know about taxes in the future with the sunset in 2026, this is what we would project for this specific couple. And this chart here really helps to illustrate the gap years well. So you see these next 2 years here are going to be their highest tax years. That's because they're still working. And then we have a pretty big lull in taxes for a little while here, about 9 years until they reach age 75 when we see taxes spike back up. That's them starting their RMDs, all their accounts that are in pre-tax, tax-deferred accounts. The IRS starts requiring that you start taking distributions and paying taxes on those funds. So it's this area right here that we're looking at when I reference your gap years. And it's also illustrated down here as we look at this couple's marginal bracket that they'd be in, their federal marginal bracket. During their working years, this couple happens to be in the 24 percentile bracket. Then at retirement, they're in the 10 and 15% bracket. Jumps up to 15 in 2026 when the tax rate sunset here. And they remain in that 15% bracket, as you see, till age 75. Then they bump up to 25%. Again, that's what we're referencing. That's when the RMDs kick in and it pushes them into that higher tax rate. So the opportune area here is from 2025 to 2034 for this couple. And what we want to do, right, if we can take distributions or conversions during these gap years and be taxed at a lower rate than we're projecting they'll be taxed at when RMDs kick in mid-70s. So what we built in, we want to convert part of their IRAs, their pre-tax accounts, up to the point where it would keep them within the 22-24% bracket. And that's what this helps us do here. Now, one other thing to note that we want to focus on here is, as you see here, this projects the cumulative taxes that this couple would pay throughout their retirement. As you see here, a little over 1.1 million over this 30-plus year retirement. When I switch over to the alternate strategy, or building in these Roth conversions up to the 22% bracket, we'll see the impact that this has compared to the current plan of no conversions. And that's what I just did. I switched over. Basically, we added in Roth conversions during their gap years, and you can see that illustrated right here with these red brackets. So obviously, if we're going to be converting during these gap years, we're going to be paying higher taxes during those years as well. But then the idea is we lower our tax rate moving forward. And as illustrated here, you can see the potential impact that this can have. We just reviewed that the couple was projected to pay $1.1 million in taxes throughout their retirement. The only thing we've changed in these scenarios is we've now converted the traditional IRAs to the Roth IRAs during that 9-year stretch. And we can see now their projected cumulative taxes throughout retirement drop down to $717,000, basically paying $437,000 less in taxes throughout their retirement. Now, one other thing to note on this screen, you see their portfolio value at the end of retirement also reduced. You might think, okay, why are we going to implement a strategy where our portfolio value reduces? You see here around $197,000 less in their accounts. It is important to note, though, in this second strategy, the one where we convert the money to Roth IRAs, now that money is in Roth IRAs. That's after-tax money. So yes, a slightly lower portfolio, but that portfolio is now all after tax. And we'll review what the inheritance looks like here momentarily for that as well, passing on to your heirs as they would pay less taxes having inherited Roth IRAs versus pre-tax IRAs as well. But as we continue on and we scroll down here, you can see now we've filled up these tax brackets. All these early retirement years where we were paying 10, 15% in taxes, we've now filled up. But however, when we get to RMDs here down at age 75, where we used to be the 25% bracket for the remainder of our retirement, again, we're projecting 20 plus years at this point in our mid-70s, we're now in the 15% and 10% bracket for those years. So we've significantly reduced our RMDs kind of up front of our taxes. And as you saw here at the top, it can potentially save a lot of money in taxes. But as you can see, just this kind of quick illustration, implementing a Roth conversion strategy during your gap years can have significant impact and is something that if you find yourself in this position, it's something that you may want to look into. But again, really important to make sure that you do this with some sort of supervision from an advisor or an accountant. As one, you want to make sure that you don't unknowingly go beyond these brackets. Two, you also want to make sure that you're not putting yourself into higher Medicare premiums. There's a lot of little things that you want to look out for, and that's why it's important just to kind of make sure that you work with someone in doing this. But when done correctly, as you can see, this can have a really solid impact. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions, my contact information is in this video here. Certainly feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to discuss over a phone call, a video call. Again, my name's Drew Schaefer, and I work with Ellis Investment Partners as a financial advisor and a financial planner. So thank you again for attending, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.